Hi there, and welcome to Sosnovka. I've been looking forward to getting into this map in Farm Sim 17. I enjoyed this map a lot in 15. It's changed a lot. We got the first day. We're playing on hard. We're going to start off with 10 cows on day 1, and we're going to see how we get on trying to do that. If you haven't seen the map before, it's very nicely self-contained. Everything needs a lick of paint, unfortunately, but let it go. Best thing about this farm, certainly from the cattle point of view, is as you can see right there, the cows live right on the farm. Unfortunately, field-wise, we've only got 2. They're not fertilised, or at least the one that's ready to harvest isn't even fertilised, so we can only got the opportunity to get 1 fertiliser stage on there before we harvest it. And they need ploughing. Let's see what we got. Well, we got our little Zeta. He'll do some nice work for us. We've got the bigger Zeta, we've got the case harvester, same one as the other map, much bigger than the one we used to get in Farm Sim 15. Needs much less empty and much less service. The seeder we've got only seeds, so a little bit of extra work for us there. We basically got less equipment, we've got less land, we've got less of everything. Welcome to Sosnovka. Just going to set the game up. I'm going to put it in miles because that's just what I'm used to. Leave it on euros because that really doesn't matter. I also don't really like the auto start. I don't really like the stop go kind of throttle. It's just personal preference. I really don't think it makes any difference. I don't see why I don't like manually starting tractors. Plant growth, we're going to go fast, just for at least the first couple of days. Just to get things turned over. I usually end up running it on normal, so I've got the option of speeding up if I want to pull the harvest time back from day to day. Right, so let's start shopping. First thing, we're going to need the front loader arms on there. The engine upgrade to 150 horsepower might be an option later. It's a quicker, cheaper way of getting a bit more power, but we'll see. We're going to need the front loader arms, obviously. I'm going to get the cheaper ones. That can be a problem because if you've got a larger tractor, they won't quite touch the floor, and using the pallet forks can be a pain. Anyway, we're going to need a bucket, and I'm going to get a white one. I'm going to get all the tools in white, especially now that things reset to the shop and not the yard. There are a number of occasions in 15 when I lost things, especially in the woods. So yeah, white is quite a nice option for me, even if it costs a few $100s. We're short of money, so we can't really be too extravagant, but I consider that to be a functional purchase rather than some kind of fashion statement. Same with the claw. We are going to do a little bit of forestry. We're probably going to need the money, especially early on. Not a lot. We'll see how we get on. There's a nice little spot we can do some logging without too much effort and without too much equipment. So we'll take advantage of that. Pallet forks, we're going to need those for loading up fertilizer and seed, and we're going to need a fertilizer, but we've got no money, so let's take out the loan. Give me all the money. There you go. I do find flicking through the menus, as you can see, they're a little bit cumbersome on the Xbox controller, but there you go. It's more to do with my muscle memory than the game, to be honest. I think I can do quite a good job of mapping controls for this game. So there we are, we've got the fertilizer, that's absolutely essential. Now we have, well, the spreader, as it were. Now we're actually going to buy some seed, and we're going to buy some fertilizer. I'm going to dump this into the tippers up here and just take the tippers back and dump it out. You can buy seed and fertilizer in the yard in Sosnovka. Don't do it unless you really don't care. From the sums I've already done, it costs, I think, 5 times as much to get it from there. If you really need to avoid getting it or loading it, or you're actually out of cash, let your workers get it. It's a cheaper option than buying, refilling anything actually at those sell points in the yard. Right, so we're going to start loading up the bits and bobs. As I've shown you in some of the other videos, one of the advantages of this new game is that you can actually put some pieces of equipment in the tippers, so I'm going to have to take advantage of that to get all of these things back. Have to hitch up just to open the thing so we can actually start putting some stuff in there. And as I mentioned, the plan for the fertilizer and seed is we're just going to pick the pallets up if I can make it through the door, put them in the tippers, We'll buy another tipper shortly. That's what I meant about the loader arms. They're a little bit short for that tractor. If we were trying to unload the pallets onto a trailer, that would cause a little bit of a problem potentially. But because we don't have to worry about that, just grab the fertilizer spreader on the way out. We can get away with it. So there you go, seed straight in there. Put down the fertilizer spreader. If you're using a fertilizer spreader that's got a cover, do open the cover before you drop it, otherwise it won't let you fill it up. There you go, straight in there. Right, let's get the other tipper sorted out. Also, obviously, having a second tipper is going to make getting stuff to sale points much easier. I haven't even looked at the economy in this game yet, but I can imagine we're probably going to be travelling around a little bit more. On the old map in the old game, it had a sell point with a train which gave you a bonus to your prices, so you basically took everything to that train. We'll see how we go in this one. I'm not really going to worry too much about the numbers till day 2, because day 1's so fragmented in work we need to do that it's not really worth basing anything on that. We'll see what the numbers are like at the end of day 2. So here we go again, get this new tipper. I've chosen the one with the dolly arm there, rather than the fixed one. That's the price difference between these two trailers that we looked at in the shop back then. I don't mind having to try to hitch these guys up together. I don't know why it spawns all the equipment in the shop. I can understand with the vehicles, but it can be a pain sometimes if you bought a lot of stuff to try to get it out of that shop without crashing in stuff. And there you go, that's the rest of the seed in there. I found it quite a good way of moving the stuff around. It certainly saves all that messing about with the pallets, unloading the pallets. Don't really need a flatbed trailer either. I can't see that we're going to need one for a while on this farm, certainly the way I'm going to run it. I'm just showing you how to hitch the trailers up. I've actually bought a front weight, which I forgot to do. We're going to need that for the logging anyway. If you attach that onto the front of the tractor and then the trailer attaches to the weight, much easier to move those trailers together to hitch them up. Right, we're going to need to cut some grass to feed the cows, but we're running short of money. We're going to need 50,000 euros to buy the cows, so we're going to have to lease some equipment. Now, hopefully we're leasing the stuff that is going to cost us the least money to lease, due to the hours we're actually going to use it, and I think leasing is going to be down to managing the hour charges. So I think the mowers, we can earn the tedder, which we only need obviously to turn the grass into hay. Leasing is going to work out okay. The other thing I'm not really sure about, but we definitely need a plow. So I think I'm going to go ahead and lease a plow as well. The question is, which plow? The 2 meter plow, that one's 2 meters. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go for the bigger Amazone plow. He will do it. The tractor's going to pull it at about 6 miles an hour, which is going to be the same speed as the harvester, so at least they're going to be in sync. Not as efficient as it could be. I'm really going to have to watch the hours on that. I think I'm actually going to get rid of the cultivator and just use the plow every day. Doesn't seem to be much point in having 2 tools on the farm that basically are going to do me the same job. So off we go. We're not heading straight back to the farm. We're going to go around to the animal sell point, which is across the map over here. Lovely open landscape on this map. That's the timber yard down in the bottom. The trees beyond that, so you can see in that field just over there, look. They're the ones we may exploit early game. Get a little bit of extra cash in. We will see how we go. One of the limitations of this startup is also that having 2 tractors means that they're going to be busy in the fields for the whole of harvest time. We're not going to be able to potter off and do any odd jobs. We're even going to probably end up driving a harvester from time to time, because there'll be little else to do. One of the highlights of the map for me is the wonderful mural to the glory of these socialist baker ladies of the Republic. And here we are at the shop to buy ourselves some cattle. $5,000 in this game, doubled in price since the last game. Which, when I initially had a look at doing this startup and did a little bit of research, I didn't take that into account, and it went very wrong. But there you go. I'm bothered to get any kind of transportation. 10 cows, it's only going to cost us $2,000 to get them back. That's less than leasing a trailer to get them home ourselves, so we'll just let them be delivered on this occasion. Right, so back to the farm. I've already fertilised this field. Sorry, there are some bits of footage missing. I've had a nightmare putting this kind of an episode together using the Xbox One recorder, but I'll talk about that in a moment. So I've fertilised the other field. This field, the fertiliser is going ahead of the harvester. Harvester's on his way. You've seen my system before. You can see him there in the background fertilising. At least we'll get that 130% bonus on our crop, because we need every penny we can get. Other tractors ploughing over the other field. Once we finish fertilising, the little Zeta is now going to whiz round with the front mower and the tedder, cut us some hay, obviously turn the header off at another point and just cut some grass, because they do now count as different foodstuffs for the lovely cows. Something to do, as I say, you have to kind of wait until you've got a free tractor at the moment. Manual load up of the seeder. I really don't mind doing it this way. As I think I mentioned earlier, I'm going to demonstrate this for you. I don't really edit out my little mistakes, etc. There you go. I forgot to open the cover on the seeder, so I've spilt my seed all over the yard. Yeah, give it a bash. It's a very, very, very naughty seeder. The place really does look quite run down. Maybe we're the first people to come back after a zombie apocalypse, or we're quite near Chernobyl. I don't know, but it looks like this place has been quite neglected over the years. Another thing we don't get in this game, map compared to the other map, is that we get no spare buildings to sell. I mean, we really are limited. There you go. We've got the seed in the seeder, and off we go. Basically, the field work's been done. Day 2, I'll go through that a little bit more. Day 1 is just a mess because there's no structure to it, because the fields are at different stages. I've already used a bucket to pick up some of the straw from behind the harvester. Got that into the cow shed. The straw needs to go in that building there. Again, I'll show you properly. Grab some grass, do exactly the same thing. Now you may say, oh, that's not very realistic, you can pick up grass with a front loader. I know, but I mean, my attitude is there are tools and implements missing from this game that a real farmer might have access to. If you had 10 cows, if it really came to the crunch, you'd rake up enough stuff to keep them going. I don't know. I'm simulating that, so I'm not cheating. It's my farm. You do whatever you like on your farm. I think that's the way this game should be played anyway. I didn't show you me grabbing the water tanker either. Basically, the problem that I had is trying to put together an episode like this rather than the tutorials that I did previously. Trying to keep the footage going on the Xbox turned out to be a little bit of a chore, and I was just missing 10 seconds here, 20 seconds there, which basically made you miss me buying the water wagon. In fact, I've leased it for exactly the same reason of the other pieces of equipment. They're not going to be used constantly. That's going to sit there doing nothing, that water tanker. It's never. How am I ever going to use it for an hour? I don't quite know what our use time would be. As I mentioned earlier, look, you can get all your tools back in the tippers. It's quite handy, saves some scurrying about. You simply dump the seed or the fertiliser in there with them. It really doesn't mind. It can be a little bit of a wiggle and a woggle to get them out. Luckily, the bars across the top of the trailer have no physics whatsoever, so you don't have to worry about that. And this, my friends, is the Sosnovka loading wagon. As I said, I haven't got the money for a loading wagon. I haven't got the money for a baler. How else am I supposed to feed cows? I've been sent here to run a cow farm, so we shall do it by hook or by crook. There you go. It's not pretty, but it works. I'm not even selling any crop today from the field that we harvested. We'll do that tomorrow. I just need to get the farm set up on day 1. Here we are. We're going to get the cows fed in the trough. It really doesn't matter which foods you put in these troughs. I've seen some people on the forums. The grass is already in there. I'm actually just piling up some of the extra hay here. Yeah, so people on the forums have been worried. Oh, I put grass in the trough. Now I need to put silage in a different trough. No, it just all piles in there. The game sorts out what's what. There is quite an odd thing that goes on with the power food when you mix the food. We'll get into more detail on that. In fact, I did post a small video solely about that very odd thing that when you mix food and put it into the trough, it actually splits it back into power food and silage. So that's quite a change from the last game. But we found a neighbour, the first one of the game. He's got a lovely truck. I'd quite like to have one of those myself. And that's pretty much the first day done. Obviously, day 2 we'll go into a little bit more detail. We'll look at some of the numbers. We'll check the market out. We'll have a little look around the map. But everything's in place. I've managed to miss one stripe down that field. That is zooming in slow motion, by the way. I just need to extend the footage slightly so I can finish gabbling. We'll get back to day 2. I should have that up in a couple of days. The difference is now, I've had a nightmare, as I said, using the Xbox One recorder because it was clipping bits of the action off that I thought I was capturing. We've invested in an Elgato HD60 game capture gadget so I can record on the fly a little bit better. So hopefully the episodes going forwards will be a little bit more coherent. I won't be just executing a huge cut and paste exercise. Great for the tutorials when you want to stage the footage, I must say, and you kind of know what you're doing, but just trying to work through a day and making sure you captured the bits you wanted to. Now, the Xbox One recorder is a little bit cumbersome for that. So anyway, please leave a like or a comment. We should have episode 2 up within the next couple of days. Sorry for the break this week, just been frantic at work, and I was waiting for the Elgato to get here before I put anything else together. Thanks a lot and take care.